Talk to me with Adedoja Allen.
So tonight, one of our topics, the topic for discussion is inter-ethnic marriage. Inter-ethnic marriage, which means intertribal marriage. So Nigeria is culturally huge, as we know. We have over 300 ethnic groups. Did you know that? With quite different languages and cultures. So these are mainly grouped into, the three major tribes is Yorubas, Igbos, let me put it that way, and the Hausas. Amidst the talk of unity and oneness in the country, many people still question the thought of marrying someone from a different tribe. I'm sure you've probably had an experience, or you know someone who says, oh, he or she can marry outside his or her tribe because of certain differences. Quite a number of people do say that. And, it's not exactly their fault. They're just afraid or scared of the uncertainties that lie ahead when you have an intertribal marriage. But we have some people that have done it and they're very successful at it. And so when you ask, they'll say that other tribes usually have something bad about them. I've seen or heard people question marrying from certain states within their ethnic group. Let's not even start discussing that tonight. That one we're not going to go away tonight. So I just cannot help but think about it. And that's why, I'm wondering why, that should matter when it comes to choosing a life partner. Well, let's talk about it. We Nigerians, regardless of educational and social exposure, are still guided by ethnic affiliations. Well, okay. There are some families that cannot accept inter-ethnic marriage. They just can't stick it. They can't stand intertribal marriage. You dare not bring someone from another tribe to the house and say you want to marry this person. You can't, because these families just believe that marriage is challenging enough without the added stress of language and cultural difference. Do you get what I mean? They don't want to add all that stress of the cultural differences. So I don't blame them, and that's the truth, because these differences are sometimes a very big problem in this intertribal marriage. For example, a woman wants to marry or gets married into a different tribe, sometimes just faces emotional abuse and then injustice, especially when she loses her husband. Is usually never easy for them. I'm sure we've had a lot of these examples. We've seen or heard where this has happened in quite a number of occasions. In spite of all this, though, there are many couples in inter-ethnic marriages that also enjoy a long and peaceful married life. I have a guest on the show who is going to talk to us about bliss, how she's enjoying our intertribal marriage. The truth is that a true love or happy home is not determined by ethnicity or tribe. It's not. And I personally feel it shouldn't be considered a big deal. It's okay to acknowledge the disadvantages, but is it okay to let go of that special person because you're from different ethnic group? Have you really thought about it? I'm Yoruba is Igbo, I'm Yoruba is Hausa, I'm Igbo is Hausa, that sort of, or Shekiri, or what. I'm just using the three major language. We all fall under either you're Yoruba, you're Hausa, or you're Igbo. Yes, so let's just stick around that. I know we have Delta, I know we have Akwa Ibom, I know we have other states, but I just want to keep it very simple. So I like to share a few tips that I believe that can help you begin this journey. It's not too late either if you're already in that inter-ethnic marriage. It's not too late if you're in it or if you're about to go into it. At least let's learn something from one another tonight. Let's learn one or two tips. I will talk about it and then I'll go over quickly to my guest. You're going to join in the conversation at some point. Number to call is 07001051. So the first tip from me is you have to, and this I'm getting these tips from experience. You have to ensure that you brief your fiancé, the person you want to get married to beforehand on the aspects of your culture. Educate your partner, your fiancé, on your culture. This is very important. Don't allow surprises to come in, especially the ones you know your family holds very dear and of high esteem. Because again, if you don't and your partner comes in or your fiance comes in, won't it seem like the person is coming to trivialize what you guys hold very high? These things are different. You can't blame the person because he or she is not from your tribe, so she can't understand. The Yorubas, for example, will prostrate and do all of these things, but other people, Igbos or another tribe, might not exactly put much importance to it. So you need to we need to educate your spouse or your fiance on, I'm using the word spouse, you're not yet married, on understanding the culture. Generally, I will suggest you do your best. Just do your best to make the meeting with your spouse's family as pleasant and as enjoyable as possible, so that your spouse sees what they should see at the beginning, at the outset of the relationship, of the meeting, the family, and they know they're better prepared for whatever lies ahead of them. So first impressions are usually very hard to erase. So you also need to do your best to discourage stereotypes. You're intentional about what you do. You emphasize that each person is an individual and they should be regarded as such. Never use statements like, Igbo people are usually very this or that. Yoruba people are very this or that. They always do this and that and that. Hausa people are, you know how we do these things. Stereotyping the tribes. You don't want to do that because you are going into that sort of environment. Don't generalize. If you've had a very bad experience with an Igbo person or Yoruba person or an Hausa person or whatever, doesn't mean they're all like that. It's something that we do a lot in Nigeria and we need to stop it. So if you embrace these positive generalizations, then you'll be able to accept and expect and accept the negative one. So it's just best to close your ears as far as talks are concerned. Don't let people becloud your judgment on a particular tribe and how the people are. No, it doesn't mean that you've had a very bad experience with one and they're all like that. No, please, we need to move away from things like that. More importantly, you need to accept the fact that marrying someone whose love language you do not understand may make it a little difficult, though, for you to bond with your partner's family, especially the fact that you may not be able to bear people talking around you and maybe about you without you understanding that what they're saying. This again happens. So always do your best to include your partner in conversations with your family. If they refuse to speak English, or are more comfortable speaking in your own language during a long conversation, then you have to be ready to take the job of that interpreter. Don't let your partner feel left out in the conversation. We do this a lot as well. Some people they forget themselves and they're chatting away in their own local dialect, and the other person is just left out of the conversation. You also need to, because I think it's just general. Every human being feels like that when people are talking and you don't understand what they're saying. You feel that they're talking about. I don't know why we do that. Maybe when we need to delve, then we can say, okay, maybe the human nature, this and this and this and that. So know that if your partner doesn't understand your language, the children may never learn it. Language is actually very, very important. I would suggest that you get your partner to start learning your language so that he or she can quickly get integrated into the family. Be open to the possibility and make peace with that decision. You can endeavor to learn each other's language. You should learn each other's language. The children can also have the opportunity to learn 2 languages. Have you thought about that? It's a fun thing to do. I would say that that's what people need to be intentional about. So again, for the emphasis, I think that in this intertribal marriage, you need to be intentional about making it work, about the things that you're going to do, understanding each other's languages, making sure the children understand and speak both the mother's language and the father's language. Just make it fun generally in the house. So keep it in mind, though, that you may face intense disapproval from members of your family or that of your spouse. That happens, doesn't it? It does happen. Even when you're of the same tribe, it does happen. But you have to embrace patience and make sure that you and your spouse are always, all the time on the same page, and you're both strong enough to weather the storm. Frustrations will arise, won't they? Yes, they will. But try not to take them to art, and do not take them out on your beloved. Always remind yourself why you chose this person. The most important thing to also remember is that you should not lose the essence, your own essence rather, in a bid to prove that you will make a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law. Don't try to. Just be yourself. Enjoy the marriage. Both of you help each other. Just make it work. If trying to become a part of the family is changing you, then you don't like who you are becoming. You won't. I just think that's, it might just be time. If you're courting and you don't find that this thing is working, then you don't go into it, please. Marriage is a lifetime commitment, and forever is a long, long time to be unhappy. So these are my own views, but I'm not in an intertribal relationship or marriage. I'm not in an inter-ethnic marriage, but I will talk to my friend, my very good friend and sister. I call her my evangelist, Mrs. Rolayo Ahibe. Rolayo is in an inter-ethnic marriage, and she's been married for how many years? I'm not going to speak for her. So I'm going to let her tell you everything that you need to know, what you need to learn, so that you know that it's actually an interesting, sweet, and blissful thing if both of you make it work. Hello, Rolayo.
Hello.
Good
How
to
are
have
you?
you. Thank you. Thank
Nice,
you for joining the show tonight.
nice to be here. I think you pretty much rounded it up. I don't know what you want me to say again. You said it all now.
Yeah, but you're
I
going to
don't.
tell us. You're going to tell us about your own experience. So first of all, how long have you been? No, okay. What's your tribe? What's your
Okay.
husband's tribe?
Okay. So I'm Yoruba, and my husband is. When I was smiling when you're saying that you're either Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba. So he's from what we call the minority, right?
Mm-mm.
So he's from Edo State. So what used to be Old Bendel, so we're from the Bendel side, right? So it's some Etsako, Fuga, a place I'd never heard about before I met him.
Wow. So
Yes,
Yoruba and Edo. So how long have you
yes.
guys been married or both been married?
Oh, so what year is this? This is 2021. We married almost 17 years.
17 years of intertribal marriage. Yeah, it works. Okay. So how has it been?
I mean, I think, marriage is marriage, and marriage is what you make of it, right? And within the context of what we're discussing, has his ethnicity been an issue? Has my ethnicity been an issue in the marriage? Honestly, no. You know, because I
Wow.
think so. Maybe I should dial back a bit. So before we got married, we've known each other for a while. So we've been married for X number of years, but we've known each other. We've been in each other's lives for about 25 years.
Ah, I see.
And so what that did for us, I guess, is the fact that our families got to know us as individuals first. So it wasn't just, hello, here's the person I want to marry, we marry and we move on. So, and I think it speaks to what you were saying earlier on about introducing the person to your family, and I think that rings true whether you're same tribe or not. But the thing about in different tribes is that there's certain culture is nuanced, right? There are very certain nuances in culture. So it's meaning that there are certain things that you just do. You don't have to explain it. It doesn't occur to you to explain something to someone. You work with the same culture, you just do it because it's what you do. Like a Yoruba person, you meet someone older than you, you kneel down. If you're a lady, you dabale, as we say, if you're a guy. It's just what you do. You don't think about it, you know? And even in the manner in which you address people, they're just some things that you just do. But you find that if you're married to someone who's in a different culture and they don't do that. So for instance, maybe the manner in which they greet is different, and the parents were wondering, but he didn't dobale now. Well, they don't dobale where he comes from.
Exactly what I said.
you know?
Exactly.
So, but that doesn't mean the person is being in any way disrespectful. So it's just understanding and taking each family through, those nuances of culture and learning that, in fact, I think it was during the wedding period, I began to realize the major differences because there are things that we'll just do that my father would say, if I can speak about Nile Yoruba, blah, 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 blah. And we're thinking,
Ah,
when did this become Nile Yoruba?
I know.
Somebody,
I know, right? Typical.
you know? So you just find that there's certain things that you're just having to explain to someone else. So our wedding was a cultural mix. So we had the Edo part of it, then we had the Yoruba part of it.
That's it.
So I went to
That's the
that.
way it should be. That's what it should be. So let's talk about language barrier. How has that been? How have you managed that in the last 17, 20 odd years?
So the thing is, so he grew up in Lagos, so he understands a bit. He doesn't necessarily speak Yoruba, but he understands. Now he speaks his language very well. I understand your basic greetings, hello, how are you, and what have you. So uh, I haven't really understood the language to the extent that I really could, given the amount of time.
In
And
17
so when it comes
years?
to the kids, yes, sorry, but when it comes to the kids, so that's I sort of like outsourced that to my mother-in-law. So with the kids, we tend to speak English, or when they hear the Yoruba in mommies, when they have done something that I'm not another, say timba, so they know something is up. But but generally in conversations, so my mother-in-laws were quite good with that, and my late father-in-law, they would teach them. Like, you need to teach them because my husband speaks English to them, so someone needs to teach them. They need to understand. So my mother-in-law is very good with that and explaining even just the basics: get up, sit down, come and eat this. Having those conversations with them, so at least they understand. They understand better than I do, and then they come back and teach me certain things because so they shouldn't be lost. They can't not speak Yoruba and not speak their own language as well. They must hold on to something.
Actually, my producer just told me now that I didn't introduce you. I just called you my friend. So my friend, excuse my manners on the show tonight. So my friend, yes, is Rolayo, Mrs. Rolayo Aigbe. She's Mrs. Rolayo Aigbe. Right? Did I pronounce it well? It's Aigbe, not Akigbe, Abi?
It's Ahigbe.
Aki? Is it Ahi?
Ahigbe. The K is silent.
Ahigbe. Yes, so I got it.
Yes. So
Okay,
sometimes
so
I think it's just there to confuse people.
yes. So when I was talking about the tips, and we said when they're talking, maybe when they're discussing in their family and they're speaking their language, does that happen to you around you? And how do you, truthfully, just tell us, does it make you feel funny? Does it make you feel like they're talking about you?
So funny enough, no. So the good thing is, with any language, one of the first things you learn is insult, right? You learn those little things. So if someone is talking about you, right? Those are the first things you pick up. And that hasn't happened. So I know there's certain times, especially there's a deep conversation going on, that they may switch, the language may switch, right? But I've never felt that I was a topic of discussion. And the good thing is that if it's a conversation that involves me, then they will consciously switch to English so that I understand what is being said.
So it's okay for them to speak their language.
It's
Yeah,
perfectly okay. Perfectly okay.
exactly. Without,
Perfectly okay.
yeah.
You know?
And
And
when
so
you're
if
with your,
anything, it's a manner of being teased. So they also tease me and said, by now, this woman, because ofako is what we call Iyawo, they call ofako. So by now, you should even be the one teaching us. I said, don't be annoyed, just manage me. So I'll just laugh around it and. So it doesn't have to be a sore point.
and I'm sure when you're around your family too, you also speak your Yoruba. You are blasting on with your dad.
I was blessed away, and my mom says the same thing to him, like, don't you should by now, you should be, so it switches both ways.
Yeah.
But what I try and do is that if I notice that is happening, so even if it may happen with my nuclear family, meaning my parents, if we're in a wider network, maybe aunties and uncles and things like that. So I sort of have to consciously remind them, he's not a Yoruba person, it's move to English, so that at least it can be carried along with what is, whatever it is that's being said.
Okay.
And so that effort is always made.
Okay.
So I think it's really just about making the effort.
Right. So has there ever been a time where you've gotten discouraged or frustrated?
I don't think so. It hasn't. So the tribe has never been an issue. It hasn't been an issue. I think what it is that once you understand, I think it's important, especially for couples who are yet to get married, to have conversations, so you have understanding, so there's no confusion. So, for example, things like, okay, before the issues of COVID, what do you do during holidays? Are you meant to go to the village, quote unquote, for Christmas or Easter? Those are the things I think tend to bring, could be a bit of a sore point if it's not something we're used to. So I was born and bred in Lagos. I'm from Ogun State, right? So my hometown, I can literally go to my hometown and come back. Well, before traffic and before the days of traffic, I can go and come back like 3-4 times in a day. It's not a big deal, right? As opposed to having to travel. The first time we went to my husband's hometown. That is when I knew I married someone that was not a Yoruba person. Because the first road trip, it was just like we're going. Like, how would you reach where we're going? We're just going. Like, where are we going? So, but things like understanding what do you do, there's certain conversations that must be had, which is why I said that culture, even though it's nuanced, you have to have those conversations. What do you do during holidays? Who does what when? If we're spending Christmas with your family, for example, outside of Lagos, where do we spend New Year? What do we, all those things. It's important to have those conversations.
Very important.
It's important to have conversations around the children, the naming culture, for example. Who does the naming? Some people are particular about names.
Exactly.
Child must
I was going to come to that. Yeah.
So those conversations, it's important to have those conversations up front, so there isn't tension.
Right.
So it's not a matter of like, but I thought, well, you didn't ask me. So it's a lot of conversations. So maybe a bit more conversations and a bit more questions. So when you're intending to marry someone who is from a different culture.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's worked for you, and I'm glad, because someone out there will be encouraged. City 1051 FM, we are your number one lifestyle station. You're tuned in to Talk to Me with myself, Adedoja Allen. We discuss topics around marriage, and tonight we are talking about interethnic marriage. Are you in that sort of relationship? Join the conversation on 070010511051. With me tonight, sharing experience and encouraging someone out there, is Mrs. Rolayo Ahibe. All right, so we've had quite a number of conversations. Let's talk about food. Food. How has that been? How have you managed that bit?
So the good thing about food, and I guess because of where he's from, it's not too far from Ondo State, which is close to Europe. It's close to our town. So it's not. Food hasn't been an issue. So the only difference is like, when you make things like egusi, for example. There's Yoruba egusi, which is just the pumpkin leaves. Then there's the other egusi where you put vegetables and things inside. So they're just different nuances. That's why I said it's just little things. So you're not making something that's completely different. Maybe if I had married someone from a completely different area where there's zero connection, may have been a bit more challenging. But I think with anything else with the conversation, one of the first things I said when we got married, I said, look, I can cook anything under the earth, but I don't know how to pound it. I don't pound yam. I don't do it. Sorry. So
no, you can mix the powder.
You can mix the powder, yes. But none of that, no. So we had that conversation up front. So I look, so it's not as though he asked and said, can you or will you not? But I said, look, I know food is a thing. So here's where, let's ring fence this matter here,
But I'm sure in 17 years you must have learned a lot about their food.
Yes.
Yeah, you would have.
And the good thing is, so I guess because of the closeness, and I also realized, what has also helped me realize is how rich our culture is and how close things are. So, which is why I said there's just little differences here and there. But there hasn't been anything that's been dramatically, like a shock to the system. So, but one of the things is, so for instance, now when you come into a family newly, and you go to their hometown, and they have what they call different quarters, you go and visit the elders in one place, another place. Same thing you would do in your own place. It's just that you're having to travel out to a longer, a bit of a distance to do that, So it's
Yeah.
also helped me realize the richness of our culture,
Exactly.
our different cultures in
Exactly.
Nigeria. So I think it's
Exactly.
about being open,
Yeah.
being open-minded.
Yeah, it is. And to be honest, you've actually made it a lot more interesting that there's no big deal in an inter-ethnic marriage to go into it. So to join this interesting conversation tonight on inter-ethnic marriage, the number to call is 070010511051. So Rolayo, would you say that you have become or you are now an advocate of inter-ethnic marriage? Would you say that? We have the we have the phone lines buzzing, so let me pick that call.
Okay.
Hello,
All
good
right.
evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Top of the evening to you, ma. This is
L.
Bibi from Ojodu.
It is who?
Bibi from Ojodu.
Bibi. Okay, hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, ma. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I actually really like the simplicity of her explanation, but it has to do with, like she said, they have been together for long. You have to have a good relationship with your partner first. It's not something you have to do in a rush. You guys
Yeah.
really need to understand each other very well and also have great respect for each other and also know each other's value. Because sometimes if you just come into a relationship without nothing, you have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
If the partner is willing to take you to that level, there will be some kind of disrespect, and even if he wants to set the boundaries between you and his family and trying to bring a bond at the same time. The fact that they
I
know
get
that
you.
you don't really have what to offer, there will be problems. A lot of problems will occur. Something that some families are supposed to just overlook, they won't overlook it. But the fact that they know that you have something to bring to the table, and both of you really understand each other. Most importantly, you have a clear conversation constantly, because relationship is commitment, and commitment does not have the comfortability all the time. And you must be open-minded to learn. It's also okay for you to learn the language if possible. You learn the language. It's not a big deal. Find out important days, how you do things from each other's part of the world. Like what she said, like Christmas and the rest things. What do you people do? Naming ceremony. All those very detailed, because these days we just get carried away with the sweetness and the enjoyment of it. Important questions, they jump it. That's why there's always problem at the end. You cannot run away from things that are supposed to be foundation. You to come back to you in the fun. That's why there's problem. There's not supposed to be problem. It's supposed to be sweet. If I cook up on a soup, you have never eaten the whole soup. It's wonderful. Just be open to learn something new, and let's set the boundary, because there must be a boundary, and you must have a good relationship and understanding. It can work. It's doable.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Bibi. Thank you. Excellent discussion there. So the conversations around tonight has just made it very seamless that inter-ethnic marriage is not such a big deal, especially in the age of civilization. Both of you can make it work. To join this interesting conversation tonight on inter-ethnic marriage, the number to call is 0700-1051-1051 and 0909-916-4403. You can also send me a WhatsApp on that 0909-916-4403. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Olalekan.
Okay, hi Olalekan. Okay, we lost your call there, Olalekan. Please call back. Kindly call back to join the conversation. Yes, so you were talking to me, Rolayo, about. So I was asking if you've now become an advocate of inter-ethnic. Okay, the line is buzzing again. Please, let's take the call. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, this is Kelvin from Valley.
Kelvin.
Yeah.
Okay, go on, Kelvin. Speak up a little bit though.
This is actually, the topic is actually amazing. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Real quick, I'm an Igbo person, yeah,
Okay.
and I ended up marrying a Yoruba person.
Oh, bravo. So Igbo and Yoruba. So how has it been? Tell us in 1 minute. Interesting.
Yeah, of course. It's been amazing. I've been married for 5 years.
5 years.
Well, of course, it's just for you to just know how to manage your risk. But before then, it wasn't easy. You understand? It wasn't like, from my own side, it literally wasn't like, I knew I fought a battle just to achieve what I want.
Wow.
Yeah, I literally did.
And your wife, and you're both enjoying. Oh, I lost him there. Oh, Kelvin. Wow. Okay, let me see if that's Kelvin calling back. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Okay, hello.
Rebecca.
Your name is?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Yes, ma'am. Very well. How was your day, ma'am?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. Talk to me.
A lovely topic today.
Thank you.
So I just want to share my own experience as well.
Okay, in 1 minute.
So yes. So I'm a Ghanaian married to an Igbo man.
Oh, Ghanaian married to an Igbo man.
Yes. And his marriage that actually brought him to Nigeria. So
awesome.
What I'm trying to say now is that it's all about understanding and getting to really put in your efforts to learn about each other.
Awesome.
I learned every meal Igbo people eat, and I take care of my in-laws. I cook for them. People don't even believe that I learned all this on my marriage.
Wow.
Okay. You have to have something that you want to offer in the marriage, and you want your marriage to work.
Wow.
Doesn't matter what you are married to, but then are you ready to sacrifice something? That's the question. If you are not ready to sacrifice, you cannot get your marriage worked on. So, yeah, so that's my contribution.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you.
Almost
every Thursday. Thank you. How long have you been married for, Rebecca?
So I'm celebrating my 10th year.
Your what?
10th year. I'm married. I'll be married for 10 years.
10 years. Congratulations. A Ghanaian married to an Igbo man. You deserve an accolade. That's a brave one. And I know that is the love that has kept both of you together. Thank you for sharing this and encouraging someone out there. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Rolla, did you hear that? Interesting. Interesting. So, do you think that we will be able to normalize inter-ethnic marriages in Nigeria? Do you think it's going to get to that?
Normalize. I don't think it's abnormal. I think, but people
like that.
Will always have,
I like that.
People always have their preferences, right? And I don't think, so long as it's not something that is frowned upon, so there'll always be someone who will say, you know what, I want to marry someone from my own tribe, which is perfectly fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's all about preferences. For me, from day one, even before I met my husband, I never felt, the person I married
Let's
must
pick this
be
call.
a Yoruba man.
Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Madam, good evening. You have Titi Lope here from Ikeja.
What's your name?
Titi Lope here.
Titi Lope.
Calling your program. Yeah. First time calling your program.
Oh, first time.
Every time.
Okay, you're a regular listener, but a first time caller. Yeah. Thank you, Titi Lope.
The only time I did not listen to you was the time you did not come on the program.
Oh my God, you always follow. That's once though. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in.
Because although Andres said something and I really learned so much from her, but I want to add to your question. Although she said you guys need to have a conversation up front, but there are some times you would have agreed on things, but when issues come up in the marriage, crises come up, people might change. That thing might not necessarily come directly from them. It might be from influences from the people, from the tribes and whatever. For instance, in the case of delayed children, when you don't have children on time, that's one. And number two, in the area of inheritance, maybe somebody dies, maybe the man dies and whatever, that's two. Number three, in the area of girl child and boy child dichotomy, which has to do with inheritance again and some other specific culture of our people. I wanted to look into that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Titi Lokwe, my regular listener, my first time caller. Bravo, thank you. Roland, did you get that question? So he said that
I did.
whilst we've spoken very well, but crisis sometimes changes the dynamics of that. You heard all that he said. So he's asking for what would you say to those?
Okay, so I think crisis is crisis. Crisis is not a respecter of tribe, right? So it's not, if anything that happens, it's not because the person is from this tribe or that tribe. And what I was trying to say earlier, when you're asking if I will be an advocate of intertribal marriage, for me, what's important is not necessarily the tribe, but the character of the person. So you must understand the character of the person and also look at the character of the family you're marrying into, because in Africa, you are not just marrying the person, you are getting yourself connected to the family, So it's important to, eyes wide open in an extent. So there's only so much you can know. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You don't know what tomorrow is going to throw at you. But if you understand at least this person that I'm marrying, this is his character. Life happens, strains happen, pressures happens to everybody. Even if you're from the same hometown, pressures still happen. But what is his or her character? And now the matter that the person mentioned in terms of, especially the spouse, passes away, and oftentimes as if it's the man, then there tends to be some pressure on the ladies in certain cultures, I think it's important for, particularly as women, we need to be very, very, frank with ourselves, that it's important that the woman is also, to the extent that she can, be financially stable, because what tends to happen is that the pressure comes in when it's the man that's been shouldering everything, and then when that person is no longer around, that's when some form of bullying, if I may put that, comes up. But that is not because it's not because it's intertribal. It is what would happen within that family anyway, even if it's the same within the same tribe. But what I'm saying essentially is the character. Understand who you need to know who you're marrying.
But I think though that delayed children could be an issue. Do you agree?
Delayed children.
Yeah, if there's a delay in having children and the marriage is inter-ethnic, I think we've had quite a lot of similar problems from there.
So I'll share a particular a personal story of a good friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. This whole issue of delayed children. They were married. I mean, they had their first child after being married about 15 years. Okay, and they're from the same, the same tribe. Was the pressure there? Yes, but did the man buckle under the pressure? No. Why? Because of his character. Okay. Now you also have another couple, again, same tribe, same pressure, hadn't even been married as long. Did the person buckle under that pressure and get another, try to resolve that situation? Otherwise, yes. So what I'm saying is that issue is not necessarily a tribal issue. So sometimes I think we tribalize issues, character issues.
Character and your values, your relationship with God, how strong you are in your faith. Yeah.
And for this particular situation, like I said, the couple that waited 15 years, they asked the man the very, you didn't do this. I was expected, and he was an Igbo man, to be honest, so they're an Igbo couple. And feel like, that I've expected that he'd have gotten this. He said, look, he didn't do that kind of thing. Why? Because he fears God. He didn't do that type of thing.
Thank you. That's it. That's it.
So it has nothing to do with those matters.
Yeah.
It's who you are.
Yeah, actually. My friend and my brother is actually logged on to Zoom. Okay. Femi he's also Ghanaian. That's why I had to say it. Married to my friend who is Nigerian, a Yoruba woman, and they have fantastic marriage. They are friends. They have 4 children. So this is also quite encouraging. I have a WhatsApp here, but the phone lines are buzzing. Okay. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Olalekon.
Okay, Olalekon, yeah, you called earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, talk to me.
Well, it's a very interesting topic you're discussing. Actually,
thank you.
Looking at it at a face value, there shouldn't be it's not a big deal, marrying another tribe from another tribe, actually. It's not a big deal. There shouldn't be any issue.
Yeah, exactly.
But, looking at it practically now, talking about African setting, she has said so much about making sure you know your in-laws and all that and all that and all that. But you see, I married a Yoruba lady. Of course, I'm a Yoruba man. But you see, when we go married, there are things that I love doing that by the time we got married, she does not like them, those things.
And that's not intertribal.
Yeah, and that's not even an intertribal stuff. So what I did was that, okay, Madam, what are the things you don't like that I'm doing now? This and this and this and okay, I deliberately jettison all those things just for her.
Oh.
You know, including a goosey soup. I love it very well, but she said it's not her thing.
Wow.
So I just think since it's not your thing, if it comes, fine. If it doesn't come, no problem.
You're a fantastic man. I must say.
So what I'm trying to say in essence is that she has mentioned it, is understanding the person you are getting married to.
Exactly.
Whether it's intertribal or whatever, just once you have that mutual understanding amongst each other, it will work perfectly.
Thank you.
Okay. When it even comes to the in-law thing, because both of you understood each other very well, you will be the shield to your family. As in, you be the one trying to making sure that you mend whatever things that might cause differences between your families.
I like that word, shield. That's a strong word there, shield. Yeah, be the shield.
So that's my contribution.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olalekan. Wow, you had this contribution there, Rolayo.
I did.
Yeah, interesting. We have a WhatsApp message here. Good evening, Ma. I would remain anonymous. I was engaged to an Igbo man. A relationship of over 10 years, though he has been out of the country for as long as over 10 years too. We got engaged 5 years ago. I was scared because one of his brothers married an Imo lady and him being Anambra. So I know the war that goes on, not to talk of me being a Yoruba lady. They appeared to accept me. After a year, we broke up and they did nothing to salvage the issue. I later learned that there was an issue of me being Yoruba. So that was how it all ended. Even when we came back to last year, the relationship still didn't work. Wow. That's a different one. Igbo and Yoruba, it just hasn't worked. Oh, my WhatsApp caller or listener there. Well, that's quite unfortunate, but it is well. Okay, Rolayo. So, have you been able to counsel? I mean, actually, talking about, let's take it from this WhatsApp message before we let you go tonight. Have you been able to counsel intending couples? Have you had such experience counseling them, encouraging them, making them see why it's not such a big deal?
Yes, and what I always say is it's important, I keep saying it, that what you're left with at the end of the day, the wedding is one day, the marriage is for life. What you're marrying is that person's character. And I like what Lekon, I believe it was Lekon that said,
yes, Olalekan.
Being a shield. Olalekan that said being a shield. You need to know what type of person you're marrying on his side and on her side. You need to know who you're with, because for that person to be a shield for you, it's not after the marriage. He would have been doing it before. And there's certain things that she would have been doing before to try and ease, okay, my husband's online.
I can actually see that your husband has joined. Hello, sir. How are you? We're waving here. Nice to have you on the show. Can you imagine our husband has joined? It'll be nice for you to speak in 1 minute. Okay, go ahead. Can you hear us?
Okay. So it's Yannick, can you unmute? Are you there?
No, we will unmute him. They will unmute him. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, he's unmuted. Hello, Ihane, how are you?
I'm okay.
So tell us, how has it been okay, yes, you're there. Tell us, how has it been inter-ethnic marriage between yourself, Edo, and Rolayo, Yoruba? Did you hear me?
So it's funny because I always tell Rulaya that I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very well, clearly.
It's gonna be funny.
In case network is acting
So
up.
I always tell Rulaya that she's only Yoruba in name.
Oh.
Let me go out and come back in with something else. Just give me.
Okay. All right.
Back in the something else.
Okay. So he said, whilst we are waiting for him, he said that he tells his wife that she's only Yoruba by name, meaning that she's everything that he wants in a woman, regardless of the fact that she's from another tribe. Okay, I have a WhatsApp message here again. Good evening, ma'am. I'm an ardent listener of the show. Thank you very much. Anyways, tonight's topic is really beautiful and I'm enjoying it. I'm married to a foreigner, American Jamaican. Okay, a different twist. Trust me, the first 2 years were tough. Oh, okay. But it's better now. Trust me, it's a beautiful ride I'm experiencing. Lastly, whether you're married to your own tribe, interethnic or racial marriage like I'm into, there must be trust, communication, love and understanding. Be open to yourself. Don't allow any third party in your marriage. I love the show. Edozie Naji. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for loving the show. Yes, so you were telling me about couples that you've counseled.
Yes. So as I think as my husband was saying, you can't start from the angle of tribe. That's okay. You are marrying a person from this area. It is the person you are marrying, the human being you are marrying, the character. What you end up with is the person's character and values. Even after a while you're married, you don't even see the person's face anymore. In the sense that it's not about the looks or this, it's about who that person is to you. He or she, how he or she makes you feel, how he or she treats you, how he or she respects you.
Let's take this
how
call
he or
again.
she helps you.
Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, ma.
Hello, ma'am. What's your name? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
But I didn't get your name.
Precious. Precious, ma.
Precious. Hi, Precious. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm from Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
And I got married to a Yoruba man.
Ooh, Akwa Ibom and Yoruba. Okay, interesting. Oh, just when you started to speak, Precious, we lost the call. We lost the conversation there. Okay, I think Rolayo's husband is back on. Okay, I'm waiting to see his face. So that was an Akwa Ibom lady married to a Yoruba man. Yes, you were saying, you were talking about, yeah. I think you've emphasized quite a lot tonight, character.
It's character, because it's character that's going to see you through the tough times, and life will have tough times regardless of where you're from, to be honest. So it's that character. What's the person's character? What his or her value systems? What do they think is important? Are they the type of person that easily swayed by other people? Is it what uncle and auntie say is more important than my husband or wife? I keep going back to what Olalekan said about being a shield. You need to be sure that for both of us, you and I are a unit. You need to agree upfront that you and I are a unit, and then whoever it is that comes through, they end up having children. The children are part of that unit.
Okay.
And everybody's extra.
Oh, guys, back. Okay, honey. Hi. Welcome back. Is it a better network now? We've unmuted you. Please, let's speak for a few minutes before we end the show. Yes. We can hear you.
I think tribes or ethnicity are just constructs. Ultimately, it comes down to the person and your idea and agreement on your goals. So, look, I've dated people all around the world, not just Nigeria. I have friends from everywhere, but with Madame here, I don't think we ever had a conversation about ethnicity. It was more like, I like this person likes me, I think, and we seem to be aligned on the same things. And we worked going forward, and we've come through a number of experiences, challenges, because the thing about marriage is that it's not the movies. It's not as simple as I love you, you love me. There are things we've dealt with. We've lost people, we've lost money, we've lost business. It's an ongoing process. So it's all about, can you sit down and say, look, at the core of it is the two of us, and everything else comes from the two of us. It's literally not you and me against the world, but you and me facing the world.
I like
think
that.
That's the key thing. So, yes. Plus, she's cute as hell. So,
Oh, how sweet. Oh my God. Such an honor to come on the show. So, I mean, we're rounding up very in a few more minutes, but I want you to encourage someone out there. I mean, I read out a WhatsApp message about the lady who got married into ethnic, but the thing didn't work. I think she's Yoruba and the guy is Igbo, and for some reason she went through and now they're not together. But I want both of you to please encourage someone out there that even if you have 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 bad experiences, is not that bad to go into. So let's hear Oga talk.
I think in life generally, and I think human beings always do this. You take one situation and say, because this didn't quite work out, nothing will work out. Look, here's the reality: people fall in out of love. People change friendships. I honestly don't believe that your ethnicity should be the determinant for your relationship. So if it didn't work before and you want to keep on trying it, first thing is find somebody that you vibe with, that your soul, your essence resonates with, and find someone who's your friend, because you can lose money, you can lose everything. If you lose that friendship, that's it. So I married my best friend. So
wow.
To the person, to the lady, find your best friend.
Wow.
Partner with your best friend and grow with your best friend.
That's honestly,
that's
you have just said it all. You can lose money, you can lose any other thing, but don't lose the friendship. So the basis, the foundation of your marriage should be friendship. Rola, let's hear from you in 1 minute before we round up the show.
So I just be echoing what he said. To be honest, I think what I was looking for in getting married, it didn't even occur to me to consider tribe. I wanted to marry my friend. I wanted to marry someone who would be there with me, who we would go through life together, because we don't know what, like I said, we've known each other for a while. We've been together for a while. So we had no idea then what some of the things we've had to face now. So it's not about the tribe. It's not about the ethnicity. It's not about the race. It's not about the color. It's about the character of the person you're marrying. It's about who you are, and making sure that, it's not chalk and cheese, meaning that at least we have similar value systems, you have similar beliefs, you have, you're not marrying for somebody else, because this is what people say you should do. You're marrying, as I said, you're marrying your friend. You're marrying your friend. I think that's the most important part.
Oh, thank you so much. We've been so blessed and informed, well educated tonight on the topic inter-ethnic marriage. You see, just to demonstrate what we're talking about, the wife came on the show and the husband said, "Why not? Let me join you." And we had double for. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Aibe. Wonderful conversation and discussion round about inter-ethnic marriage. You've managed to enlighten the listeners and the public out there that is not a big deal. You can go into it and just make sure that you're friends, you have the right foundation, and you've built a strong bond amidst whether it's inter-ethnic or what. The foundation of your relationship should be friendship. That's what you said. You said you and your partner, you are facing the world. I like all those tips that you've given us. So I personally think that no one should have a stereotype type mindset about getting married, whether inter-ethnic or intra-ethnic. Love shouldn't matter in all of this. Thank you so much to the listeners and the callers on the show tonight. Thank you so much, Rolayo and Ihani, Mr. and Mrs. Aigbe, for honoring the invitation tonight to come and inform and educate people on inter-ethnic. Using your marriage, your beautiful marriage, as an experience that, hey, go for it. It's not a big deal. There are many things to consider than your tribe, or whether you're Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba, or whatever it is. All right, so that's it for the show tonight. See you next time. The show makes a return next week, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. I apologize if I could not pick your call. We had quite a number of calls and quite a lot to discuss. Don't forget, you can stream us live at on our website and on MixLR. Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked down on City 1051 FM for more music. Thank you. God bless you.
Talk to me with Adedoja Allen.